Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Financial Astrology. Okay, so this is the channel where we kind of get deep into kind of more of the economic kind of side of things. And as you know, I created this channel in anticipation that there would have to be something more kind of dedicated to global finance and stuff like that, because I could see so much tumultuous events coming up. And thank you everyone who tunes in and has been helping support the channel and helping it grow and hopefully helping it reach a wider audience. And the subscribers are growing. And I just want to say thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And if you've not done so already, please, of course, be sure to like and subscribe, like this video. It's free. And it really helps the channel grow, because we are in extraordinary times. As you guys know, I've been saying for ages, but we really are in extraordinary times. We understand everything that is happening with the tariffs and DOGE and stuff like that. And if you think about it, the vast majority, so much of the political news of late, especially in the last few months, has been financial, hasn't it? Think about it. It's been DOGE with all of its cuts to federal agencies, the flight regulations, to Medicaid, to even Social Security. They're getting stuck in on all of that stuff. All of this is having this financial component to it, isn't it? They were talking about government efficiencies, etc. And it's nothing could be further from the truth, because they've gone in, piled in, sacked a whole bunch of people, and then they've had court orders to rehire those people, often with back pay and compensation, causing all sorts of trouble, resentments, job losses, financial hardship. It just goes on and on. So that's one of the things I want to talk about today. Of course, as you know, I also did a reading on Trump's chart. Trump's chart, and of course Elon Musk's chart. You guys might remember that. And I was talking about the star Algol. I've been banging on about this for ages. But the reason why I've been talking about it so much is because it is true. Look at how much themes of betrayal there have been in the last few weeks and months. Yeah, it's just been one betrayal after another, hasn't it? As I said before, Uranus will cross the star 3 times. It is now doing its 3rd cross. The first one was in summer, in July 2024. Crossed over the first time. Joe Biden stepped down. Donald Trump almost got assassinated. Yeah. Then it retrograded, went past this, because it went forward, direct over the star, then retrograded back over the star, which was what? November 5th and 6th, 2024, the day of the election. Look at all of the stuff that's happened there. In many ways, if we look at the result, my goodness, what a betrayal that was. Yeah. Uranus is also the planet of what? Geeks. Yeah. Geeks can be great. I'm a self-confessed geek of astrology and all of that stuff, but it is a planet that deals with astrology. It deals with geeks, but it's not just, well, K2 deals with geeks as well, but it's not just that. It deals with technology, the future, AI, all of that stuff. Uranus, I wrote in my book, deals with the tech oligarchy. Yeah. Elon and the like, Zuckerberg, yeah, Bezos and the like. Yeah. So you can see these are key factors. Uranus went retrograde and then went back into Aries, where the inauguration happened. It was in the first house at 29 degrees of Aries in that inauguration chart. And I said, we're going to see stuff from this government or this regime that we have never, ever seen before. That is, of course, proving to be true. And now it's making its third cross. It is on that star today. It came onto the star yesterday. Yeah. Sunday, the 13th of April. Today is Monday, the 14th of April, 6 minutes past 11 p.m. UK time. Uranus is slap bang on that star. And what do we see in the news? Stories yet again of betrayal. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substantiate, what I've been saying, just in terms of, I'm going to show you a report by someone called Kyle Kulinski. Yeah, Kyle Kulinski. He's an independent, he's a YouTuber, independent broadcaster, very potty mouth. He swears a lot. I've tried to find some of the stuff that doesn't have as much swearing, but very, very accurate. In fact, really, I think legacy media is actually trying to catch up with us YouTubers. I really do. I really do, because this is like YouTube. Now, obviously, you can have your charlatans, of course, on YouTube as well. But those that are dedicated to the truth are very often talking about not necessarily breaking the stories, but they're talking about the stories, the important stories that are often missed, overlooked, or underplayed, or not even discussed at all. Yeah, because let's not forget as well, legacy media, is also owned by the billionaire class as well. There might be billionaires with slightly different agendas if they're more kind of like left leaning, but still, big business is still a big factor, and that has been one of the major problems and part of the reason why we see the situation as it is in America. I'm sure we can all agree on that, but without making this all about legacy media. So so you're all piling in. So let's see who's here. So Marianne says, I want him to leave and take Doge with him. Yes. Josie B says, please tell us about switch to digital currency. Yes, we need to talk about that, because that really is on the cards. Many of you who follow this channel, you will know that I made a video about, in fact, I think one of the first videos I did on this channel was about Uranus and its progress through sidereal Taurus, and how that was going to change the global financial markets. And I said, guys, get ready. We're going to be looking at digital currency, but we're also looking at upheavals in asset classes of all kinds. Remember too, as well, Taurus also deals with food. I said there's going to be changes to agriculture, all things to do with AI and all of that stuff. Look what's happening. When I did the charts of Elon and Trump, and then overlaid those, I think it's my Algol star video, overlaid those over the United States, I said, look, this is going to add up to a lot of losses. I also said that Elon will probably have to leave Doge at some point, whether or not he'll be fired or people may just ask him to leave. Apparently, he's only got 50 days left. This is what has been said, that he's got 50 days left, because if you're a non-government department employee or something, there is a statutory limit. I think they said, is it 130 days? I think something like that. Forgive me if I've not gotten that quite right. I've just put my phone on airplane mode so you don't hear the beeping in the background. So we're gonna look at Elon's chart, yeah, and we're gonna look at just where Uranus is in general, particularly looking at the USA chart as well, because for the USA chart, this isn't only just a Pluto return, it's also a Uranus return and a Chiron return. So we're going to look at different things, and you just let me know things in the comments as we go along, and I'll read your comments out. Let's see here. Sherry's here. So, Sherry, if the muskrat leaves, will the US be able to charge him for the crimes and mischief he has committed? After all, he stole the election and our social security. That's just for starters. Indeed. For that to happen, though, I would say you would have to have a completely different administration. So you would have to have a Democrat institution, or maybe some kind of more left-wing third party situation, I would say, for that to happen, because it's obviously not going to happen under the current regime, is it? I mean, they put Elon in place, but without doubt, it's just been crime after crime after crime. I mean, it's not even being subtle about it, isn't it? It's not even being subtle. Ronnie Mendez says hi all. Brenda Allen says hi everyone. Oh, Callista. Hello, Callista's here. Hello, Callista. And I need to get back to your emails. A lot of guys have to make a confession. I have a bit of an email phobia, you know. Like people contact me, especially it's best to contact me via my website, because that goes to a separate email and I do everything. And we have brilliant consultations, and I email everyone their consultations. And then I just get nervous of emails. Do you know what I mean? It's funny, isn't it? Because you would think, being here on YouTube and stuff, because obviously people, watch the channel and, enjoy the content and stuff like that. But I don't know, I get a bit nervous with attention sometimes, weirdly enough. Anyway, sorry, rambling on. That's really not got anything to do with it, but apologies if I've not got back to you yet in terms of, follow-on chat, shall we say. So Jen is saying, thank you for having us. My pleasure. Thank you for joining me. Lilith is here. Hello. Diane is here. And then JW, looking forward to the day of reckoning for Musk and his enablers. Indeed. Oh, Guide is saying, hi, Hoagie, sound is good, but you are freezing. Am I still freezing now? Can you guys give me a little, or was that at the start? Let's see here. Regina's saying, hi, Hoagie, is there anything in the stars when this regime will fall and be removed? And then Sherry said, I couldn't watch the Oval Office crap. He discussed me too much. Indeed. Right. So what I'm going to do is, basically things are changing. Apparently they're getting very annoyed with Elon. Yeah. So I'm gonna share my screen with you. I'm going to show you a little article. And then I'll show you a YouTube clip. I'll close down some tabs as well, because that might be slowing things up a little bit. Let me just scroll down. Oh, okay. Oh, Lynette says no freezing. And then Crystal Blue says, I haven't seen any freezing here. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Oh, someone said at the start. Yeah, sometimes, StreamYard is a little bit, I find at the start of the program it's a little bit sketch, but anyway, we seem to be in the flow. Right, let me share some articles with you. Then I'm going to show you some clips from Kyle Kulinski, and then we're going to start getting into debates. The debate, start looking at the charts, start discussing this effect of Uranus and stuff like that. In terms of the regime, we'll have to see. I mean, we're going to have to look at the USA chart, because I do have an idea when it may be more likely that the American people will get rid of the regime. Yeah, and I suspect it's going to be when Jupiter moves into sidereal Cancer. Yeah, because that was the sign Jupiter was in. Well, I mean, it was kind of sort of like it was the time of the French Revolution, actually, time of the French Revolution. So watch this space and I'll explain. All right, so let's do, let me just share my screen with you guys, just so you can see how things are developing. All right, so here we are. Let me do share. All right, you should be able to see this. Apologies for all the gargantuan amount of advertising on this thing, but I wanted to show you this. This is the Economic Times English edition. I don't know their political affiliation. You know, I was just Googling just to make sure that I could substantiate the things that I was talking about. But obviously the Economic Times dealing with economics. This is the financial channel, the financial astrology channel. So anyway, it says here, most irritating person, Trump officials raise alarm over Elon Musk behavior amid claims he is high. Of course he's high on ketamine and whatever else for entertainment purposes only, but we all know it's true. All right, so I'll just read you a bit of this spiel here. Here we are, synopsis. Some officials in the White House have raised alarm over DOGE chief Elon Musk's behavior. An official even described him as the most irritating person and someone who always tries to be funny. Elon Musk's presence in Trump's administration is reportedly unwelcome, with senior officials expressing frustration over his behavior and attempts at humor. So again, I think it just here. So Elon Musk enjoys a good relation with US President for now, but I think we all see that relationship is beginning to crack. Yeah, because look, Duck LaRange, as I said before, Duck LaRange cannot stand Elon. He's just having to put up with him. Even Duck LaRange has his limits when it comes to Elon. Anyway, Donald Trump and his prominence at seat of tables Trump's administration, but White House officials are growing deeply annoyed with him, according to a recent Rolling Stone report. Musk may not have a lot of friends, with officials describing him as irritating. Cabinet members are reportedly growing tired of his behavior, including his attempts to be funny and his deep-seated belief that he is smarter than everyone else. Yeah, this has long been the case. And it says, officials surrounding President Trump have raised alarm over Elon Musk amid claims he is high. The Tesla owner and SpaceX chief was brought into the US administration to improve efficiency in the US and proceed to get rid of some important departments. He heads the watchdog agency known as the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, to streamline federal operations and slash federal costs, which we know is a whole pile of BS. Because, let me just stop the share there. Hopefully you guys saw that. This isn't about efficiency, it's just about slashing. That's really what this is. As we've all find, these people are sociopaths. They have no empathy, and Elon's probably got the least of them all. Yeah, least of them all. What's this? Sherry's saying, yes, Lynette, the news report was showing pictures just horrific. Shapiro was talking to the media and held back tears. What's happened? Has something happened? Love and appreciation. Whoa! Mary Crane, love and appreciation from Los Angeles. We had a 5.2 earthquake today. Oh, goodness. I'm so sorry to hear about that. Wow. Unfortunately, Uranus can deal with earthquakes, you know. Neptune is tsunami. Uranus is Neptune can deal with tsunamis, obviously earthquake underwater. Uranus can often deal with earthquakes, and it's on the star Algol today, the star of treachery, as you've heard me saying. But it also deals with, you know, upheavals. I'm so sorry to hear that. Wow. Let me just keep 5.2. That's pretty strong. Carly's saying they should be angry with DOGE since they cut off the 9/11 funding. Absolutely, absolutely. What I'm going to share here is a clip here. Thank you, Hoki, for all you do. You bring us hope to us all. Thank you so much for being here. So look, things are starting to crack, guys. Things are starting to crack, because if you think of the protests, you know, that's why you've heard me say protest, especially on my other channel, Hogarth's Global Astrology. Because, and look, if you think of these rallies, now we know We know Trump is very sensitive to crowd size. Yeah. So, of course, when you see Bernie Sanders and AOC going out with their anti-oligarch mission, and I think the last one had 36,000 people appear, which apparently is one of the biggest rallies ever for any party, let alone independent, because technically I think Bernie is an independent now. Trump and the regimes, they notice things like this. They notice things like this. Everyone notices things like this. Coachella, Bernie Sanders was at Coachella, got huge shouts of support. And then once Trump's name was mentioned, they all started booing. And that was 100,000 people. You know, they notice stuff like this. Right. Let me show you another clip and then we'll get into some charts and stuff like that. So if we look here now, remember this theme that I've been talking about Algol, the star of betrayal. It is on that star today. When it moves off, when it gets more than 3 degrees away from Algol, then it should start to calm down a bit. So together we're going to take a look to see when that actually is, because you know I love to bring up the charts for you guys. But I say this stuff, as you know, because it is real. You know, it's real energy. So if we go here, so this here, I'm going to present to you. Let's do share screen. And then we're going to talk about things like digital currency, etc. Now, this is from Kyle Kalinske. And I've got here also share tab audio. So that is enabled. And I don't think he swears so much in this one. But I mean, he's very entertaining as well. What I want to show you is, I think from about, I think it's about 40 seconds in. I think it's 40 seconds in. He's extremely expressive. Oops. I think it's here. All right. So get ready. I'm going to play the clip.
Now, by the same token, when you look at DOGE and Elon, everybody looks at them and go, yeah, this is what they do. They dismantle every good part of the government day in and day out. They're destroying the social safety net. They're destroying everything good about our government. And then they lie about it to the public. That's what they do, right? People are sort of used to it. But I got to give you these updates because the specifics matter, and these are just earth-shattering. Let's start here. This is from Newsweek. Trump denies FEMA aid extension in state he won 3 times. This is a shocking betrayal of North Carolina. Shocking betrayal. All right, here we go. Democratic Governor Josh Stein announced Friday that the Federal Emergency Management Agency has denied North Carolina's request to extend the full reimbursement period for Hurricane Helene recovery efforts. In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, which struck in September 2024, then presidential candidate Donald Trump voiced sharp criticism of FEMA's response in the swing state of North Carolina, accusing the agency of being too slow to release recovery funds and failing to coordinate effectively with state officials. Trump repeatedly claimed that federal bureaucracy was delaying critical aid, saying in one press briefing, "The people of North Carolina deserve faster, better action. FEMA needs to cut the red tape and get the job done." So in other words, what he's saying is, Joe Biden, you're being too slow. You're being too slow with the help to the people of North Carolina. You got to help them, and you got to help them faster. That's what you got to do, Joe. These are our citizens, and they're hurting. This is what he was saying. And now he's like, I'm not even going to give you a full reimbursement anymore. You're done with the reimbursements. Oh, my God.
Right. So you can see there's, hopefully you guys heard that clip okay, but that was Kyle Kalinske there. I'll have to put a link to that video in this video description below. But he really encapsulates, and you see he also backs it up with like documented evidence and stuff like that. So what we're seeing here is the absolute abject hypocrisy, of this regime. But you see, he even used the words himself, betrayal. Betrayal. This is what this star deals with. And imagine that after all of that critique that he gave to Biden about blah, 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 now he's refused it because, of course, he's got the vote now. He's got their vote. He doesn't care. He is a malignant sociopath. You know, that's what he is. And it is about enriching himself, and it's about enriching his friends, and screw everybody else. But anyway, I don't need to keep repeating that, because of course many of you who watch would absolutely understand that. But do you see how these themes, how they play out? You know, because this energy, and then, you know, Uranus, you know, does sadly, like I said, deal with earthquakes. Like when you know, when particularly as well, since Uranus is going into an earth sign, it's already in an earth sign. It's currently at around about 1 degree 10 minutes of sidereal Taurus, of course. So Uranus is the planet of what? Sudden shocks and surprises, upheavals. When he's in an earth sign, that can literally mean more earthquakes, because that's the kind of thing that Uranus does. Uranus is a shocking planet. He's also known as the Great Awakener as well. So we're also seeing, along with Saturn going into sidereal Pisces, where I said, look, Saturn's going to be what? Delivering out the reality checks. Yeah, lots of people are getting reality checks through the post. But this combined as well with the Uranian energy shaking everything up. Do you see? And it just seems like it's just never ending, isn't it? It's one thing after the other, because Trump is so Uranian and Martian. That's why I really just like the two planets I would say that are most indicative of his personality is Uranus and Mars. And that is a very bombastic and unpredictable combination, which is having all sorts of consequences. Here, Bloomer saying we're all deeply annoyed by the felon. Absolutely. Roxanne saying it's looting. Yeah. A mentally deranged burned down. Huh? What's this? A mentally deranged burned down Shapiro's house? Oh, no. Sorry, because I'm obviously. Wait, of course. Wait, you're talking about Ben Shapiro is the. It's just. Forgive me, guys. I've been so thinking about the DOGE thing. Of course, Ben Shapiro is the governor of. Forgive me, I forget which state, but there was at one point, I think Kamala. Well, he was in the running to be Kamala's running mate, wasn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong. Wow. A mentally deranged person burned down Shapiro's house. Algol, betrayal, the start of betrayal. Pennsylvania, yes, that's the one. Destroyed, Magical Mermaid says. What? Let's see here. Denise is saying, after spending time with Musk at Mar-a-Lago, it is apparent at the inauguration that even Baron Trump was uncomfortable being around Musk. Yeah, Musk is he's just insufferable, clearly. Blue Manara says, an arsonist set fire to the governor's mansion while they were sleeping. Oh, wow. Look, everyone's Governor Shapiro home in PA blown up. Sorry, guys, because I'm scrolling down and now I'm seeing the, what's it called? Old Silver said, emotional intelligence, Jupiter into sidereal Cancer. Hergy has me looking stuff up. Thank you. So I'll show you. It's going to be a while. It's going to, actually, I already know the date, actually. It should be happening on either just before or just after June 1st, 2026. This is critically important, because when I looked back at the French Revolution, that's where Saturn was in sidereal Pisces, Uranus was in sidereal Taurus, and they're both in those signs now. And then Jupiter was in sidereal Cancer. What's this here? Hergy, I think the PA government mansion caught fire. That's why he was speaking today. Wow. Oh, more information. It was a Molotov cocktail thrown into the window in the middle of the night. Oh my gosh. Kat Christoph said they were celebrating Jewish Easter, Passover. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. sorry, I'm just reading this because this is breaking news for me. The guy in Pennsylvania was arrested. His mother is saying that he has bad mental illness. Thank God Shapiro and his family weren't killed. They were all sleeping at the time. What madness. Oh, yes, shocking betrayals everywhere. Kat says, a man has been accused, but that's all I know. Oh, so do you see the theme? Wow. Yes, Kat, so heartbreaking. The news and photos were breathtaking. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to look that up. Yes, Old Silver said you labeled as the rude awakening. Yeah, it really is, isn't it? Wow. And on the day when was it the governor, or someone said, or was it the governor's mansion? Sorry, I've been in it. Well, either way, Josh Shapiro has been attacked. Okay, so there's a bit more here. Karen is saying, not entirely burned. Shapiro's family was awakened. Fire out. Family okay. Suspect arrested. Wow. This is extraordinary. Look at this. And then Sherry, he was also wanting to kill Trump. And then Regina saying, are you saying we have to wait until June 1st, 2026 for the regime to be removed? Not necessarily, but what is energy builds, yeah? Energy builds up to things. And, you know, as they say, one of my favorite sayings is that history doesn't repeat itself, but often rhymes. So the way this will manifest in the United States will obviously be different, as opposed to way back, you know, in the 1700s when France was having its revolution, because of course completely different times, completely different technology, political situation, financial situation, etc. I mean, there weren't even cars back then. But when I look at the energies, it can show that similar things could happen. So look, let me get some charts up for you so you can see where this Uranus is. Now, remember, the star Algol sits at 1 degree, 10 minutes of sidereal Taurus. Yeah, 1 degree, 10 minutes of sidereal Taurus. In astrology, be it Vedic or Western tropical, we often count an orb. An orb is how near or far something is to something else, basically. And an orb of 3 degrees or less is considered a strong hit. Even 5, yeah? Sometimes, like with the star Regulus, I count an orb of 5 degrees. I find that star is powerful enough. So I'm going to show you some charts so you can see where Uranus, the planet of sudden shocks and surprises, yeah, as we're seeing, earthquakes, yeah, and like I said, weirdos, unusual, you know, it literally can deal with things like, you know, bipolar, you know, not to be bad to Uranus can also do with genius as well, but it can be a very unstable energy. Right, let's just get some charts up here. So let's do present. Let's do whole screen. Let's do entire screen, and let's get you some chart action here. All right, so look, I'm going to just do file. I'm going to do new birth chart, and I'm just going to, let's just do here, call it star well, let's just call it Uranus star Algol. Uranus star Algol. Here you can see 14th of April 2025. You can see it's UK time. Let's do USA, just New York. Let's just put here New York because that will be Eastern time. There we are. And let's just do calculate. Oh, crikey, what have I missed? What's going on here? Oh, there we are. All right. So if we see here, you guys should be able to see this chart now. Hopefully you can see my red cursor. I think it appears a little bit smaller on the screen. Now, just to explain what's going on. So this is where the planets are right now. I have cast a chart for right now. Here, over here, you can see this is still the remnants. This is the remnants of the rude awakening, the great / rude awakening that I was talking about, which really the gong, Saturn struck the gong on the 29th of March, 2025. You've heard me talk ad nauseum about this. Forgive me if I'm repeating myself and you've heard this before, but it bears worth repeating. And I said, this is when the big reality check will be coming for everyone, the whole world. Saturn will, some people will be getting great results. Some people may be mediocre results. Some people maybe some dreadful results. It all depends, yeah, what Saturn leaves on the doorstep. Some people get a block of gold. Some people get a block of wood. Some people get something that's not so nice. Yeah. If we look here at the moment, this stellium, a stellium is 4. Well, actually, I'd say 3 or more planets in one sign. So we can see here, this is still a big stellium. Venus is now direct. It's still in sidereal Pisces. Saturn is here now at 1 degree 55 minutes. Rahu, the north node of the moon, is going the opposite way, coming back. Yeah. So Saturn and Rahu are soon going to cross each other, but you can see they're very, very close. This as well, just so you know, when Saturn was on Rahu, the last time that happened in sidereal Pisces, the last time that happened was 1968, and there were 2 significant assassinations at that time. One was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and the other one, of course, was Bobby Kennedy. Yeah. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean it will exactly repeat again. History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. But we are in that theme, especially as we see Uranus is indeed on the star Algol. Here, Mercury is at 5 degrees and 4 minutes. Neptune is at 6 degrees 21 minutes. Chiron is here as well. The sun has just moved out. Yeah. So according to Vedic astrology, the sun has just moved into sidereal Aries, yeah, where it's exalted. At 10 degrees is the exact exaltation point of the sun. But the important thing is to look over here. You'll see here Uranus is at 1 degree 14 minutes. The star sits at, Algol sits at 1 degree 10 minutes. Yeah, so it's exactly on it. On Sunday, it was, when I checked, it was 1 degree 10 minutes. So the energy, bang, it's always been active anyway for this, you know, basically since June 2024, really. This has been active when Uranus actually moved into sidereal Taurus. In fact, you could actually even say May, because it would still have been conjunct the star, even on the Aries side. But once it got into the sign, and now it's back in. So you see here, sign of Taurus. So for the USA chart, this is a Uranus return, a Pluto return, and a Chiron return at the same time, with all of this action going on here. Now, let's give you, let's go to the animated screens. Let's do animated transits. And when Uranus gets to about beyond 3 degrees, it should start to weaken a little bit. But I'm going to say even as far out as 5 degrees, because Algol is a very powerful star. But let's look to see when it gets to, let's say 5 degrees of sidereal Taurus. Yeah, when after that, hopefully the energy of betrayal should weaken a little bit. Let's take a look. So if we look here, I'm going to do my weekly. And we're gonna, it's got today's date here. Now, I want you to focus. I don't know how big it's going to show on your screen, but we're going to be looking at Uranus down here at 1 degree 14 minutes. And we're going to be looking when it gets to like 5 degrees or more. Yeah, so let's click forward weekly, see how fast it moves in a week. So remember, Uranus moves quite slowly, spends about 7 years in each sign. Yeah, direct, retrograde, etc. All right. 2 degrees by 28th of April. Let's see when it gets to, let's see when it, oh gosh, look at this. That's quite an interesting, another big stellium happening in Taurus. So there might be some more big news in May. Yeah, May 26th here. That could be some quite big news happening with Uranus, Mercury, Sun, and Moon together. Yeah. Could be some news there, particularly things to do with travel, food, agriculture as well, and finance, definitely finance, because Taurus is a sign of finance and Mercury is a money planet as well. Let's keep going. See when we get to about 5 degrees. Let's see here, 447 there, 509. So it's when, let's just do daily, because that's the Virgo in me that wants to have the, oops, let's go back again, 509, let's go daily and go back to give you that exact day when it hits 5. So Uranus is going to hit 5 degrees of sidereal Taurus on the 20th of June 2025. Once he starts to go beyond that degree, one would hope that the influence of that star on Uranus will begin to weaken. Now, look, if we see here, obviously the faster planets will cross over the star because they all the planets will go through Taurus at some point. Yeah, Venus will cross at some point, but the Uranus has been the sudden shocks and surprises kind of stuff. Do you see what I mean? Let's get up Elon's chart. See if I've got him here. Let's get up Elon's chart and let's talk a bit about him, because we were supposed to talk about DOGE as well. So do I have Elon? I think I do. Of course I do. Let me see if I can just do Elon. No. Okay. What did I put him under? I must have put him under business. I think I put him under business. Business. Did I? Oh, crikey. What have I done with Elon Musk's chart? Or did I put him under politics, maybe? Forgive me. What did I do with Elon's? Economics. No. What have I done with Elon Musk's chart? Famous. Did I put him under famous? No. Sorry. For some reason, I can't find Elon Musk's chart. Politics. Did I not put him under that? No, I would have found him there, wouldn't I? Oh, silly Billy. I should have. Elections, second impeachment, Boris Clarence, Emmanuel Macron. Got everyone here except bloody Elon. What have I done with his chart? Jesus. Maybe I did him under Musk. Musk? No. I'm doing the search here. Business media. Oh, I can't find his chart. I'm so sorry, guys. Let me just keep scrolling just to see if I can find him. President E. Why have I not? Look at this. I've got Steve Bannon. I've got the Royals. Why do I not have Elon? Let me just see. Trump, Great Awakening, Candid, Security, Royalty, Kate, Philip, Meghan, Xi Jinping. I've got Vladimir Putin, Stacey. I've got lots of people. Julie. Oh my God, Sydney Pat. I've got lots of people here and I cannot find Elon's chart. How funny is that? Let me just make sure. No, I think I would have found it by now. No. All right. I have to give up on that one for now. What chart did I bloody use to do my? I was just looking at him the other day. I don't know why. I know I've got his chart somewhere. Now I'm really determined now because I'm really. Anyway, look. Let's look at the French Revolution chart. Here we are. That would make a bit more sense, wasn't it? Since I've spoken about that. French Revolution, France. Forgive me, guys. I thought I had it there to hand, and obviously I didn't quite have my you-know-what together. Right. The important thing to understand is this. Oh, no, Uranus wasn't there. Oh, it was with Jupiter. Forgive me. I misspoke. Anyway, here in the French Revolution chart, you can see here that Saturn was at 2 degrees 15 minutes of sidereal Pisces. He is there pretty much now. Look at this. Where it says TR, this means transits. This is where it's right now. Saturn is at 1 degree 54 minutes. So he's getting very, very close to that 2 degree mark. We'll have to see how relevant that is. And he was retrograde. He was there with the moon. But as we know, there's a bigger stellium going on here. Uranus actually was in sidereal Cancer as well, but Jupiter was there. That is the crucial element. And that's it. Neptune was in Virgo, which is now opposite itself. Yeah, because Neptune is now up over here. So maybe not quite the exact configuration. I think I misspoke a bit there. But anyway, at least you can see. Let me stop the share for now, so you can see a bit. Did you guys see that? Okay, sorry I couldn't find Elon's chart. Don't know what happened there. Let's just put here. So someone's, what's this saying here? Old Silver is saying Jupiter into Cancer transitions June 9th, 2025 until June 29th, 2026. Aha! But I think you are looking at that would be tropical. Yeah, that would be tropical Cancer. Yeah, that would be tropical Cancer. As you know, I do the Vedic astrology, but let's see. Let's have a look. Yeah, let's see. You know, both systems can work. You know, as long as they're being read well. Let's see. But because I do Vedic astrology, according to us, it's going to move in around about the 1st of June 2026. In fact, let me just do one last presentation and then I can show you on, here we are, just so you can have it for yourself. Let's do animated transits. And then let's talk about cryptocurrencies as well, digital currencies. Let's do, let's put a date here. Let's put here June 1st, 2026. And then do OK. Yeah, here we can see, yeah, Jupiter there. 0 degrees and 1 minute. So on June 1st, 2026, according to Vedic astrology, that is when Jupiter goes into sidereal Cancer, but it's not quite the same setup as the French Revolution. However, that could prove to be a trigger point. Yeah, that could prove to be something significant. Why? Because it's the exaltation point of Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer, and Jupiter is the planet of idealism, philosophy, beliefs. Yeah, it deals with education, it deals with ideas, concepts, but Jupiter is also a very political planet. The sign of Cancer deals with nutrition, family, sense of security, the homeland. Yeah, and it is known as a great benefic. So you'd be thinking, well, why would, you know, a planet great benefic, how could that trigger revolution? But when you think about it, it starts to make sense, because when Jupiter is exalted, or when Jupiter is strong in a person's chart, they want to do the right thing. Yeah, based on honor and truth. Yeah, because Jupiter will also talk about truth as well. Saturn is the harsh truth, harsh realities that we all have to face, like maturing, getting older, sickness, death, hard work, graft, but, you know, grace, backbone, you know, these are, you know, patience, perseverance. These are Saturnian qualities. Yeah, humble work. Now, this is why Saturn also represents the government, or government workers, yeah, that are all having their throats slit by DOGE. But Jupiter is the ideals, the optimism, how things should be. So, of course, when he's exalted in the sign of Cancer, people are going to even more within the people, within the collective, everyone's going to be saying, this is how things should be, and they should not be like this. Yeah, people are going to probably want to rise up for their families. Jupiter is also a planet of children, deals with children, but in the sign of Cancer, he becomes exalted because the sign of Cancer belongs to his best friend, the moon. And the moon is the mothering sign, and he is the indicator of children. You know, marriage, children, economy, abundance. So, of course, the people are going to want abundance, not only for themselves, but for everyone else. Do you see? Everyone else is going to want the same things, the same ideals. And he's going to be in sidereal Cancer for about a year. Yeah, Jupiter spends about a year in each sign. And I figure that could be one of the major triggering points, because so many people are going to be going, this is not right. I want better, not only for myself, but for everyone else. And that's probably why it could trigger things like revolution and stuff like that. You know, that's my hypothesis anyway. Let me know what you think about the things that I've been sharing. Oh, yes. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah. Here we are. Old Silver says, thank you, Hoagie. I was wondering. All right, so let's see how I'm doing on time. Oh, God, like 50 minutes already. All right, look, Elon's birth information. That's the one. Thank you. Let's get that up now. I have his chart somewhere. I don't know why I couldn't find the thing. Anyway, Elon. So June 28th. Yeah, 1971, 2 p.m. That's it. Pretoria. Yeah, city, yeah, Gortney, yeah, Gutengni, I don't know how you say that, sorry. South Africa, SA. So yes, 2 p.m. That's it. And thanks so much for that, Mary Crane. Let's cast his chart now. You'll see how I do these things in, like when I'm casting charts for clients. This is how it's done. All right, share screen. Let's get the old charts back up and let's see what's going on for old Elon bag. All right, so I'm amazed that I couldn't find his anyway. New birth chart. All right, so Elon Musk. Hope you're finding this interesting, guys. All right, so what is it? It was June 28th of the 6th. 1971, and let's put 2 p.m. I use military time. 1400. And I remember, I think he's got a planet in Gemini, in Ardra or something like that. Let's put here South Africa. Some other bits. I think he's got something in Taurus as well. Pretoria. Let's do Pretoria North. Pretoria West, Pretoria Cape Province, Pretoria. Oh, Jesus. See if there's the Gitsoni. No, Pretoria. I'm going to go Pretoria North. It should still be accurate anyway, because it's, you know, it's in Pretoria. Here we are. That's it. He's got Saturn and he's got Venus in Taurus and the Sun in Ardra. All right, so this is Elon's chart. So according to this, he is a Libra rising, which means Venus is the ruler of the chart. Now, let's not forget, Venus is one of the planets of business. Yeah, so remember, Venus, Saturn, and Mercury are planets of business. That means the signs of Taurus, Libra are business signs. Capricorn and Aquarius, because they belong to Saturn, business signs, and Gemini and Virgo, business signs. So if we look here, he is a Libra rising. So that's already indicative of business. Saturn, planet of business, and Venus, planet of business, together in her own sign. But look, they're in the 8th house. The 8th house deals with what? Other people's money. Other people's money. That's what it's known for. It also deals with stock market, investments, things like that. It's also sex, death, rock and roll. It's also scandals. It's also drugs and drug addiction. We can see it right here. Slap bang, it just leaps out, doesn't it? Wherever the ruler of the chart goes, the ruler being Venus here, it will show the emphasis in that person's life. We count round to Venus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is, I think I said this in my last video, this is one of the templates for addiction, sadly, in a person's chart. The ruler of the chart has gone to the 8th. But it's not just that, it's there with Saturn. Saturn and Venus are friends, but Saturn starves whatever planet it is with. So this is a little bit of a starved Venus, but she's able to resist that starvation because she's in her own sign, yeah, and they are friends. But that does affect a person's relationships and their ability to relate fluidly with others. Venus is the planet of relations, relationships, but relating to others. And here, Venus and Saturn are together. Saturn is known as a cold, dry planet. Venus is a sensuous, warm planet in many ways, yeah? Or she's known as watery, but it's a rajastic planet. It means passionate. So Saturn can actually dull the passions sometimes of Venus when it's together, and it can often cause problems in relationships because the person is what? Cold or aloof. Not for all people, but we can see how this will be playing out, yeah? If we look here, he's got his Mercury very powerful in the 9th house of philosophy and the father, yeah, with Ceres. Ceres deals with it deals with fruits, vegetables, love and devotion to someone or something, yeah. And then here you've got the sun, which deals with leadership and all of that stuff, strong in the sign of Gemini. So we can see here, and also as well, like I often refer to Ceres because Ceres is the Roman name for the goddess Demeter, who is a Gaia type goddess. So it deals with earth, Gaia. Now, isn't it interesting? The sun doesn't only represent our divine spark that we have this lifetime and our kingdom. It literally represents the physical body of the Father. Here it shows the father is very prominent, particularly as the sun is strong in Gemini, but also in the 9th house, which belongs to the father. But what is that Gaia element? Think, what is that earth element in connection with Elon's father? Have you guessed it? Elon's father is an emerald miner. He made his billions from emeralds by digging into the earth. There's an indicator. Sun with Ceres in the 9th house of the father in Gemini, which also deals with business. The father was a businessman. And obviously, Elon has inherited those characteristics. Yeah, there's that element there. So what's happening? Yeah, what's potentially happening for the future? As you can see here, that big stellium is still very powerful, and it's happening for all Libra rising. This is happening in the 6th house. The 6th house deals with health and healing and overcoming obstacles. It deals with battles. It can deal with fights. Yeah. So I think it's things that, whoa, think about it. Of course, it makes sense, doesn't it? This stellium has been building up. But what has been happening to Elon? Yeah, he's been involved in what? A lot of fights, getting a lot of critique because of his his 2 Zig hails. Yeah, but of course they've been burning the Tesla cars. They've been protesting. Yeah, protesting. And I can also see as well for Elon, he is also having a Chiron return as well at the same time as the United States. Chiron deals with what? Wounds. Yes, the wounded healer. So there could be issues as well with Elon's health. They're already describing as what? High. They're saying he's high. He has that template for addiction. Yeah. So what this says to me is that obviously Elon is feeling quite embattled. He was also as well on a gaming platform the other day and got completely trolled. They were not very, I'm not going to repeat what they would say, but Google it. If you look up Elon trolled while gaming on aeroplane. Yeah, if you look that up. So it means he's in a time of adversity. As we know, the Tesla stock did lose 50% of its value, but it looks like it may have rallied again a bit. But I said when I did my analysis, I said it could be the case that Elon may sacrifice Tesla for SpaceX, but it depends on that relationship, yeah, that he has with Duck Orange. Trump's going to throw him under the bus sooner or later, if not so already, yeah, because he's just getting on people's nerves, yeah. Here, he does have intelligence, but he is not a genius, yeah, and I've long stated that. But what is, because his Mercury is in Gemini, that is also giving him maybe even a bit of overconfidence about his intelligence. Guess who also has Mercury in Gemini as well? Yeah, drum roll. Donald Trump. Yeah, but Donald Trump has got in Ardra Nakshatra, and I call Ardra Drama Ardra. And this is where Elon has the sun in his chart. So Elon thinks he's the leader. Yeah, because the 9th house deals with Dharma, it deals with our life purpose. The 9th house is known as a lucky house as well. So he feels lucky. He feels like he has what? All the knowledge. 9th house also deals with wisdom, philosophy, knowledge. It also shows how much his father's philosophy, yeah, because this is also the physical body of the father, has influenced Elon's mind. His weakness is this combination here, this Saturn-Venus combination in his 8th house. He struggles with impulse, his self-control, yeah. He has, there's a lot of security in his emotions because Venus is also a planet of well-being. You know, ideally, everyone wants Venus strong, because when Venus is strong, you've got a stronger sense of well-being at your core. When Saturn's there, it affects that, yeah, because those kind of loving or warm relationships aren't as plentiful in that person's life. Trump also has Saturn with Venus as well, but he's got Pluto in there as well, making it even more intense, yeah. So we see here, there's a lot of stuff here. And also as well, one of the big important things here is that he's got this Rahu-Mars combination here, which is highly malefic. Even more malefic than the Saturn-Venus. This Rahu-Mars, and his Mars is almost perfectly exalted, by the way. I do have to give him that. You notice, you see here, the degree is at 27 degrees, 29 minutes. Mars, according to Vedic astrology, exalts at exactly 28 degrees. He has almost a perfectly exalted Mars, but it can go one of two ways. Yes, Mars exalted can make someone extremely astute, extremely efficient, a problem solver, an engineer, a mechanic, yeah, of all kinds. The Queen Elizabeth II, had a perfectly exalted Mars. Her Mars was at 28 degrees. Perfect, yeah. She was head of the military, etc., all of this kind of stuff, and never missed a detail. But I think her Mars is on its own, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that because I don't have a chart in front of me right now. But he's got Rahu here. Rahu deals with obsession. Rahu deals with greed. Rahu can deal with shysters and charlatans. Rahu can be wonderful as well, but you have to use his energy right. Just like with Ketu, yeah? They're the two planets that are the most likely to take us off our path or lead us astray, especially Rahu, yeah? But if we know how to use our Rahu can take us to wonderful places, but it is very malefic. Mars is a malefic planet. Rahu exaggerates things. The nodes of the moon exaggerate things. Whatever they're with becomes exaggerated, especially Rahu blows it up. So, of course, here, Mars also deals with egoic pride and the sense of courage, etc. So he's got a huge ego, absolutely huge ego. But inside, there are vulnerabilities because he's got that Saturn with Venus. He's actually very awkward with women, most likely. Yeah, because Venus is what? Women. Females of all kinds. Femininity in general is secondary characteristics of the mother as well. Moon is the mother, but Venus is secondary characteristics of the mother. It can mean maybe the mother might be cold in some way. I don't want to diss her, but apparently she was interviewed a few years ago and they asked her, what are your dreams? What do you hope for the world? And apparently she said to the interviewee, I don't have any dreams. Wow. Not even for your kids, maybe. Yeah. So there might be a bit of coldness here or distance from the mother. Either way, Elon struggles with relationships. Now, of course, you don't have to be a psychic or an astrologer to know that. Yeah, it's obvious, but you see it there in the chart, and this is a big thing in terms of his addictions. And if we look here, he's got the Uranus-Pluto combination in his 12th house of bed pleasures, secrets, hidden enemies, foreign lands, foreign governments, all things abroad. Yeah. I always say anyone who's got a planet in the 12th house, they most likely live abroad at some point in their lifetime. He grew up in South Africa under apartheid and all of that stuff. Big fan of it, obviously, he is. And now he's, of course, in America. And you got that Uranus combination there. So it means it can be intensely strange. Yeah, remember, Uranus is a strange planet. Pluto is like a steroid, intensifies it. Anyway, let me stop there because I think, oh God, look at that. I'm already 5 minutes over. Did you guys find that interesting? So what is this talking about? The Great Awakening or Rude Awakening has happened in Elon's 6th house. Health and healing and overcoming obstacles, battles and fights. Yeah. And we've been, we've been seeing that play out. Magical Mermaid says boycott Tesla. Roxanne saying incredible how much detail it can tell. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And then Brenda saying, is that why they want Greenland? Yeah, they want Greenland for the minerals, for the land, for the strategic advantage. We already know the USA actually has bases on Greenland, not as many as before. And one was discovered in the snow, wasn't it? That was back in the 1960s or something, got buried, and now it's been seen again. But it's for the minerals, it's for the strategic positioning, it is for Trump's he is a neo-imperialist. I need to say that more. He is a neo-imperialist. Yeah, he's well up for the war. Yeah, remember, he's got Mars in the 1st house, conjunct the star Regulus, which is considered the star of the king. He sees himself as a king or an emperor or a dictator. Let's see here. Oh, let's see a bit more information. His maternal grandfather was the apartheid politician. Look at that. Born in Minnesota, ended up in South Africa. Joshua Norman Helderman, that's the one. And then Mary Crane said, with 14 kids, so many baby mamas. Yes, but a lot of these kids apparently have been artificial insemination as well. So I don't think maybe he's consummated them, but I'm not so sure. Yeah. So you see that Saturn, cold, dry planet, with Venus, which deals with what? Women, the significant women in one's life, separations from women. This can even talk about his transgender daughter. Yeah. Because, she's now become female. He's estranged from her. Yeah. Estrangement, separation, coldness, difficulties, not just with women, with all his relationships. Yeah. Doesn't get it, does he? Deb saying very interesting. Rahu is the north node, correct? Ketu is the south node. Yes, that is correct. Rahu north node, my nickname for him is Gobble Gobble. Yeah, because he's quite insatiable. And this is why he often deals with greed and things like that and politics. He deals with Ketu, south node of the moon, body of the dragon without the head. I call Ketu snip snip. Moksha, liberation from this world, separation from things in order to get learning. Lynette Ray says, neo-imperialist, nice way to say fascist. Yeah, exactly. That's what he is. Yes, he uses IVF. Yeah. So you see, cold and dry. He can't actually do the act. Yeah. Because there's that coldness there. There's a frigidity within Elon when you look at that combination. But then he's also got strange and unusual fantasies as well, because 12th house is bed pleasures. But isn't it interesting? 12th house is bed pleasures. Yeah. Faraway lands, foreign government. Uranus is also tech, and Pluto's in there. Yeah. Using tech for his bed pleasures to create these children. Yeah. Which has no emotional capacity to look after. And then Jill saying, no wonder he's so effed up. Yeah, effect up, you've said, actually. You did it the graceful way. I actually said effed. And Sherry, awkward relationship with women. Yeah. And then Lynette said he has estranged himself from his trans daughter. He has questions about his own sexuality. Yes, he does. He does. And that is a big reason for all of that. So let's see how this energy develops, folks. Yeah, let's see how this energy develops. But in terms of, like, to answer that question about digital stuff, remember, like, a lot of the digital news that I was saying would potentially happen has happened already. There is that digital reserve, a bit sketchy in terms of how that's going to play out, but nonetheless, it's being created. We saw what Trump did with his meme coin, yeah, just before the election, made himself billions by doing that coin. But you can see it's also this crypto presidency, but they're not even doing it in the right way. They're just using it for scamming, yeah, pretty much. But we are going to see crypto develop, currency develop. There will be likely a new currency in the next few years. It could come from BRICS, as you've heard me, many of you guys would have seen my other videos. I've been talking about BRICS for years, yeah? So it could come from BRICS, or there could even be a change in the world reserve currency. The European Union is talking about potentially the euro becoming the global reserve currency because of what Duck L'Orange is doing. Either way, the money is going to change. And I know sometimes that can be hard for people to believe. I remember videos that I made. One person said, oh my God, the dollar is going to be the reserve currency for the next 100 years. Unlikely. Yeah, not to spook everyone, but look what's happening. It's already been verbalized. So there's a lot of change and transformation coming. So remember what I was saying, and again, I'll say it again, I don't know how relevant it will be for people, but buy land if you can. Put money together with like-minded people and buy land. A lot of farmers, sadly, well, many have voted for it, but a lot of farmers are going to go out of business. Yeah. Uranus, sudden shocks and surprises in Taurus, deals with what? Land, agriculture. It's going to be a shock to them. They should know, but look what's happened. Yeah, China's put 125% tariff on American goods. Even though Trump has dropped the parts on the electronics and what have you, it doesn't matter. So much is imported from China. It's still going to have an inflationary effect, but it's going to devastate the businesses, people and businesses that sell to China, who are based in America. Is going to be devastating. A lot of those will be made bankrupt. That means a lot of land is going to become available. Duck L'Orange knows this, and he's lining up his billionaire friends and himself to grab it, yeah, for pennies on the dollar. Uranus in Taurus. Sudden shocks, upheavals, earthquakes. But that is also opportunity for people like you, yeah, putting resources together, or at the very least, like I've been talking to my clients as well about vertical farming, hydroponics, all of that stuff. If you can't have a farm, obviously it's not easy. You'd have to put a lot of money together, but think as well about things about growing your own food, provenance. Even if you're growing tomatoes and some squash, if you just think like zucchini, we call them courgettes, but you guys in the States call them zucchini. Zucchini, tomatoes, squash, potatoes, easy to grow. If you think that's a meal, yeah, tomatoes, zucchini, potatoes, what else did I say? Peas and stuff like that. That easy to grow, easy meals. Add some garlic and some onions, you got a meal. Yeah, you got yourself a healthy meal. Meat, of course, you'd have to look at anyway. I don't want to go on too much. I hope you found that interesting, guys. Thanks, everyone, for piling in on the chat. Please, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and share so people can get to see these videos there where we go in more to the minutiae, the detail, looking at the charts. But we can see, yeah, the astrology is loud and clear, isn't it, on Elon, why things are the way that they are. Oh, look at this. Oxford Cat said 45 changed the tariff today. He's no longer letting it. Oh, look. 45 changed the tariff today. He's no longer letting electronics come through without a tariff. Oh my God. Do you see this erratic? That's why I say he is Uranian. Trump is Uranian. He's got Uranus in the 10th house of career, high office, name and fame. The public. Uranus right there with Sun and Rahu, making it even more over the top. Okay, let me just take a deep breath. Kat says, enjoy your show tonight, Hoagie. My Saturday nights won't seem the same without you. I'll get used to it eventually. Oh, bless. Well, don't forget to watch my reflections. Yeah, I do put out a reflections video on Saturdays now. It is a pre-recorded video, but I had to have my weekends back. But I will leave it there, folks. Otherwise, I'm just going to bang on for too long here. It's already 1:15. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. What's this? No way can we get a new phone. Yeah, Susan's saying, yeah, your phone that you have, look after it. Or you may even have to fly abroad to get a cheaper phone abroad and bring it back to the USA. Because if he's not done exemptions on phones and electronics, then it's just over, isn't it? I mean, like, what will be the point? Like, what will be the point? Target serves them right, has already lost, look, here I'm going on again, has already lost 12.4 billion, yeah, 12.4 billion in lost revenues because they did the DEI thing. They got rid of it. Cost them 12.4 billion thus far. Most of their stuff that they sell is manufactured in China. So let alone the iPhones and stuff, we all know what will happen to prices. Anyway, I'm going on. Let's see here. So Jill's saying, glad I got my MacBook Air before all of this. Yeah, he's a yeah, Mary Craney, he's a piece of work. Okay, I will leave it there, folks. Otherwise, I'll just be blabbering on. Thank you so much for joining me. And you will see me next day. When will you see me? You'll see me on Wednesday, won't you? For Hogelish on Wednesday. So big love, everyone. Let's watch this space, but I hope you guys found that interesting with some of the deeper dives into the economies, futures, Elon's chart, etc. Thanks so much, and I will see you all soon. All right, big love. Bye-bye for now. Cheers.